I've always believed that a neighborhood should feel like home, a peaceful place where people respect each other, wave when they pass by, and handle things like adults. That's how our community has always been. I had been the president of our HOA for years, not because I wanted control, but because someone had to do the job, and I wanted to make sure we didn't turn into one of those nightmare neighborhoods ruled by endless fines and rules. Our HOA was simple. We didn't hire any outside management company because we didn't need one. The neighborhood was built in the late 90s, and from the start, it was meant to be self-managed. We kept costs low, didn't bother anyone about small things, and only met once a month to discuss real issues. It worked perfectly. People felt free in their own homes. That peace lasted until she moved in. Let's call her Nancy. She and her husband moved into one of the corner houses. Her husband kept a low profile, friendly but quiet. But Nancy? From day one, she walked in like she was the mayor. Within the first week, she was knocking on doors, telling neighbors that the HOA wasn't doing its job properly. At our next meeting, she stood up and said, "Your pool is not up to the new safety code. You'll need to shut it down." She sounded so confident that a few neighbors looked concerned. I didn't argue with her during the meeting, but after it ended, I looked up everything she said. I even called the city to be sure. And guess what? She was completely wrong. The pool was 100% in compliance. So at the next meeting, I calmly told everyone the truth. I brought emails and papers from the city that proved it. People were relieved. Nancy? She didn't say sorry. She just sat quietly, looking annoyed. The next month, she showed up again, this time claiming the playground wasn't safe. Then it was the clubhouse paint. Then it was a fence that she said was too tall. Every meeting, she came with a new violation, and every time, I had to do the work to prove she was wrong. I didn't want to embarrass her, but I had no choice. People needed the truth. But after the third or fourth time, I started wondering, why? Is she doing this? Then, after one meeting, when most people had left, she stayed behind and walked up to me like she had a big secret. She smiled and handed me a business card. "I run an HOA management company," she said. "If you're bored, ever wants professional help, my company could take over. We'd handle violations, maintenance, legal stuff, everything." I asked her how much it would cost. She said, "It depends, but usually between $700 and $1,000 a month." I smiled and told her thanks, but no thanks. We'd been doing fine for over 20 years without needing to pay someone that much money. Her face dropped, but she nodded and walked away. I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. After that day, she changed her approach. She stopped trying to convince people at meetings and instead started texting me directly. She began sending me photos, lots of them. Pictures of other people's houses. Lawns with a few weeds. Cars parked slightly outside the line. A cracked flower pot. A garden hose left out. And with each photo, she included a message like, "Violation of Code Section 3A," or "This is a safety risk." At first, I thought maybe she was just trying to help, but then I realized, she was walking onto people's private property to take these pictures. She was trespassing. I replied to one of her messages and told her directly, "You don't have the right to walk into people's yards without permission. That's trespassing. If you send me a violation, I'll let the homeowner know what you sent, and I'll tell them you were the one who took the photo." I thought she'd back off, but she didn't. She kept sending more. So I followed through. Every time she sent a photo, I forwarded it to the homeowner and explained, "This was sent to me by your neighbor Nancy. She came onto your property without asking and took this photo." The reactions were exactly what you'd expect. People were furious. Some of them knocked on her door and demanded answers. Others stopped speaking to her altogether. That's when she called me, panicked. "Why are you telling people it was me?" she yelled over the phone. "That's not what I wanted." I stayed calm and said, "Then you shouldn't have gone onto their property and taken pictures. You don't get to play the secret police and then act shocked when people find out." She hung up. That was the last time I ever heard from her. She never came to another meeting. Never sent another text. she disappeared. But the damage was done to her. Her neighbors now knew what kind of person she was. The woman who moved in and tried to take over. The woman who lied about the rules just to scare people. The woman who wanted to force her own company on us, for profit. She thought she could sneak around and control us without anyone noticing. But I made sure her actions came with consequences. And I didn't do it with anger or revenge. I did it with honesty and transparency. I let the truth speak for itself. And that's what made it powerful. Now, when I walk through the neighborhood, people thank me for keeping things fair. They're more cautious around new rules. They're more protective of their privacy. And Nancy? She barely comes outside. Her curtains are always closed. Her husband still smiles politely, but she avoids eye contact. She came in trying to control everything. But now, she controls nothing. And the best part? I never had to stoop to her level. I didn't yell. I didn't gossip. I just stood my ground and let the truth do its job. Because sometimes, the most satisfying kind of justice is the quiet kind, the kind where someone's own behavior ruins their plan. She wanted power without responsibility. She wanted to make money off our neighborhood by pretending we were incompetent. But all she did was show everyone exactly who she was. And once people saw the real her, she lost all credibility. That's the kind of revenge that doesn't need fireworks. Just facts. Just patience. Just one steady hand willing to say, no, we're not letting you do this. And that was me, asterisk.